this important reading from the Holy Gospel, if it doesn't shake the believer to his core, it means he's not paying attention. In this reading, we have the Lord Jesus Christ himself, the creator of the universe and the judge of all people, sharing a story, an incident that happened sometime in the past about a person that ended in hell, and another person was rewarded with heaven. In one part of the story, we hear Abraham referred to as Father Abraham. This is a reference to the patriarch Abraham that is considered the father of all nations, the believing nations. We hear Abraham responding to this rich man and saying, if they don't hear or obey, if they don't hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be convinced if someone should rise from the dead. Lazarus, or the poor man, when he died, he was taken up by the angels, according to what the Lord said, to the bosom of Abraham. This is a reference to the mansions of Abraham in heaven. Abraham was known for his hospitality and for his generosity, especially toward the strangers. Abraham would sit outside of his house, outside of his tent. He would sit in a place where he would see the passersby, the travelers, the strangers, and he would invite them to come in to relax and to have a meal. This is very interesting. It is in contrast to the opposite attitude of the rich man and his indifference. The rich man was not condemned for his wealth. Abraham was rich, just like the rich man. He was wealthy as well. The rich man was condemned for his attitude of self-centeredness, self-absorption. Abraham called the rich man son because he was a devout, religious person. He knew the Holy Scriptures because he called Abraham father. He was caring toward his family. He wasn't a bad person. He did not wish for his family, for his siblings, to face the same fate as he did and ended up in Hades. This rich man represents many religious people. He represents, he is the symbol of the attitude of a large population that has the means, whatever that means, the means within their reach to do something positive toward others, yet they are self-absorbed. Lazarus does not necessarily represent the homeless people only. Lazarus represents all the people that are right in front of us, right in front of our eyes, around us. They could be members of our families, our siblings, our friends, our co-workers, the people that we interact with them all the time. Because in the story, we hear about this rich man seeing Lazarus every time he went out of his house, out of his door, and every time he came in. So Lazarus could be someone that we interact with all the time. These are the people that might need the attitude of kindness, the attitude of caring, the attitude that we should pay attention to something beyond ourselves. I think it is interesting, and I would think you would agree with me, that there is a massive number of charitable organizations around the world, governmental and non-governmental, of all types, various kind of charitable organizations that they serve all kind of purposes, they come from all kind of backgrounds, and they address all kind of needs. Yet, the number of the people that need these services is on the increased slope. The number of people who need these services is not on the decreased slope. The question is why? How many organizations, how many more organizations that are needed for that number of people to decrease rather than to increase? Or maybe the question should be, is it possible? Is it possible that they suffer from the same blindness or indifference? And this is a reference to the people that run these organizations, or establish these organizations, or active in this organization, or finance these organizations. Is it possible that these people suffer from the same blindness, the same indifference, the same attitude of self-absorption that the rich man suffered from, and that made him blind to Lazarus that he saw every day at his door? This parable, brothers and sisters, this parable is a serious warning against neglecting our fellow men because of our self-centeredness, because of our self-absorption. This parable, this story, should shake every believer to their core, because the reality of hell, as we heard, and the unwavering stand of Abraham that flat out rejected the pleas of the rich man who was in great distress in hell.